So in this episode of 900 Degrees, we're going to try doing things a little differently. I'm on my own today. And I think it's maybe a good time to explore partnership and teamwork as opposed to solo solitude. What's better? What's worse? Are they both good? I don't know. But we're going to talk about them, and we're going to make a delicious margarita pizza at the same time. And we've got our ingredients today. Like, we're talking basic ones. Might be sort of suspect looking like I tried to make it look pretty, but honestly, they're this pretty. I did nothing. I'm not a food photographer. So we just got some basil, got some fresh mozzarella, and we're gonna put some olives in there. Not really sure what kind those are. They might be Castelvetrano. But yeah, Italian olives nonetheless, which make for good pizza, methinks. I especially like green olives on pizza. I know, sacrilege for a Greek boy to say. Okay, let's build. Okay, so here I am. You'll notice that I'm solo, mono, one person today. Unfortunately, Amelia is on some other business, design studio related stuff. Quite topical, I suppose. So I'm on my own. And we had a plan for content today, but I've kind of abandoned that. And that's okay. I mean, sometimes oftentimes we gotta kind of roll with the punches. Sorry, not to shoot too many cliches out here, but we have to adapt and pivot, that kind of thing, because life intrudes on our plans sometimes. And today we had planned to, do something specifically, and then Amelia was called away. So, it brought up a good point. We're like, oh yeah, like, sometimes, we have to make decisions or, make adjustments because things change, with design, especially, interior design as well as landscape design. I think sometimes, I can't say one owns it more than the other, but, what we call site conditions, right? Where it's like, we make all the plans, we sit around, we do all the stuff, we make all the measurements, and then you get there and it's like, oh, yeah, that doesn't work. Today was one of those things. We put it in our calendar. We're making content today. It's designers making pizza, talking about design. What a great title. I don't know. Should that be our title? I don't know. But anyways, life intruded on our plans. So here I am talking to you, making a margarita pizza. That's the adjusted plan, on my own, right? There was, I guess I'm dating myself, but I think it was Mike Tyson who said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Which I don't mind that. I mean, it's a version of, there's some other one that says, some other, cliche, I guess, or saying that says that, no battle plan survives first contact with the enemy. I guess all of these things are just saying the same thing, which is what? Which is, we can make all kinds of plans, but we also have to be conscious of the fact that we need to adjust things. This dough is a good example of that. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of getting to know how to use this stuff. I'm fairly experienced with it. And every single time it's a little bit different. I've got deep respect for pizzaiolos out there in the world who work with these things, work with pizza, and can produce a consistent one that, reliably. And it's not built on some, I think for them, it's not built on some, oh, I do it this way all the time. And so it just works all the time. No, it's about, learning fundamentals, having experience. I mean, these themes kind of run across all kinds of different stuff in the world, right? But not the least of which is design, as well as cooking. I mean, it's creativity, right? It's dealing with ingredients and elements, natural things, you know, maybe it's the weather or the temperature, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Anyways, there's a whole lot of things that we all have to do, I guess, in our lives to that. But I'm going to speak more about design, right? And it's like, you know, for us in design, it is constantly dealing with changing things. Maybe it's the client. Sorry. I mean, we're all just people. It's cool. You know, client has a change of heart. Oh, you know what? I hate that color now. Okay, well, you know, those can be big changes, right? Or we want the aquarium wall now and not the, you know, exposed brick. Anyways, there's so many things that we have to deal with. And I guess, I mean, you know, I think that's why a lot of people hire designers, is when they get the right one, they understand that the designer is anticipating or has a lot of experience with these things because that's their job. And so we're able to deal with them, offer up solutions, you know, bring solutions to the table rather than problems. I mean, we've all been in those situations where it's like, this is wrong. It's like, okay, great. What are the solutions? Oh, I don't know. It's just, this is wrong. So no one likes to have that happen to them, especially if they're not equipped to make those. So that's typically what a designer does. I mean, so I guess part of my job is also to tell you guys about that. Yeah. So anyways, what else did I want to say today? Yeah. I guess that brings to mind another thing, which is, you know, maybe it's the theme of this, since not just like adjusting to unplanned stuff, is also teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a time for solitude and, you know, deep thought individually, I think, as a designer, especially. Plenty of books written about that kind of stuff, deep thought. But there's also a time to collaborate, right? And especially creatively, you know, I know for us as designers, we like to bounce stuff off each other, right? To get gut checks, other opinions. You know, there's so many elements that can be considered in a design. It's kind of nice to have a partner, you know, and, you know, I'm really grateful, you know, with us at Studio 191, shameless self promo. Cool thing is, you know, we come from different disciplines, and, you know, being landscape and interior design, let's say, but we have a lot to say about each other's stuff. And I'll tell you, more than often than not, you know, Amelia's got some unbelievable sage advice for me on the exterior stuff. You know, just really, really helpful, you know, and, you know, she's not here to say so, but I would hope that, you know, she would say the same about how sometimes the landscape guy, the outside guy, has some good stuff for her when it comes to the interiors. We love talking to each other about each other's stuff, right? I love talking about interiors. She loves talking about exteriors. We often joke sometimes, oh, maybe we should just do each other's jobs. But I mean, it's the collaboration that, I mean, I think tends to, you know, and we get into debates. I mean, we have differences of opinions. You know, you may have seen in any one of our other videos, we've got loads of opinions, you know, whether it's too much sauce on the pizza, Peter, or not enough sauce on the pizza, Amelia, or, you know, do you really think we should only plant that many things there, Pete? You know, all kinds of opinions anyways, all that to say. And, you know, the design ends up better for it. And I can tell you, if I was just on my own, just making this stuff up and just sitting in a dark room and then coming out with this stuff, it wouldn't be as good. And that's the truth, right? You know, there's a time where you have to sort of do that deep work, but, you know, the input, you know, no design, you know, if no design ever suffered from too much time or, you know, too many ideas. not that I'm going to use them all, but sometimes hearing something, just leads me to something else. It's just creative process, really. It's about and that is what they call deductive. Going from here and then getting down to there, right? And we use that in different ways in design. So, yeah. Anyways, here's the pizza. It's looking good. I'm going to bring it out and get in the oven. So yeah, I think as it goes, making pizza and design, it's like, yeah, definitely better as a collaboration than as an individual sort of pursuit. That's just my 2 cents. I'm going to go in and check the results and then wrap this up. Okay, pizza 2 going in. The partnerless pizza day. 915 degrees. And you can see that puppy already starting to rise. Nice. We kept the ingredients simple since I'm solo. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but hey. All right, let's give her a turn. Back there. Some steam rising there. This oven's so hot it just incinerates. It's almost like it cleans as you're cooking. Kind of wild. All right. Turn and burn, baby. Turn not to burn? I don't know. And out she comes. Look at that. Steamy. Is this design content? Is this pizza content? I don't even know. So in summation, design, like pizza making, is best when collaborated. That's what we're getting at today. Like so many things, many heads can be far better than one. I mean, eventually someone has to lead and make a decision and take a direction. I think that hopefully that goes kind of like without saying. But you got to have all the options, right? And especially, when it comes to, I know us as designers, like we love to listen to the other ideas from the other designers so that we can then make our informed decision. And it's a lot to distill and sort of wade through that stuff, but that's the job of a designer. Amelia and I will often tell clients, or even people who are interested in working with a designer, if you work with someone who just gives you like 100 options, they're supposed to be the designer and they just give you 100 options and let you choose. Guess who's designing? You. They're not. So, and so what does that mean? That means that, that's a huge part of our job. That's what we do, is distill and curate. And yeah, I know too many opportunities to use those words, but the facts are that we go through the options and we bring the best ones that translate into, the best utility and aesthetic for the design. So, the pizza journey continues. I'm going to look forward to having Amelia back on the next one to maybe, switch up what we make for a pizza and talk a little, talk about something else other than how lonely I am when I make pizza. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you didn't like this video, the other ones are better or different. And we look forward to hearing back from you on what you want to see and what you don't. Okay. Okay. So